Hello, Aces fans, and welcome back to the Top of the Key, where today we are going to make our way too early predictions about the 2024 playoffs. Which 8 teams will make the cut and which 4 teams will be prepping for the 2025 draft lottery. Today, I'm joined by the Las Vegas Aces broadcast talent team here. We've got Krista Blunk and Carolyn Peck. Hey, welcome, Krista.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here. I'm so glad to be back. I'm ready for this season to get going.
Well, let's talk about these predictions, right? You guys had a chance. You guys didn't know which ones you were going to pick. You didn't talk to each other prior to. So I want to talk about the predictions, and we're going to start with you, Krista.
Yep, we did not talk to each other. What I know in this season so far is there are 3 teams that I absolutely can predict will be in the playoffs. And the rest, it is flip a coin. It really is. And that's how competitive and tough it is. But my pick, Las Vegas. I think the Aces, they're doing exactly what they came to do from the last back-to-back championships. They have Asia Wilson. They're leaning on her. No Chelsea Gray, again, losing her last year late in the playoffs. So they've had to fill some voids, but they brought in some really impressive rookies. Kate Martin finally getting some minutes the other day as well. And so, others are stepping up. So they're going to have to start working on that bench. It's a long season. It's going to be competitive.
And I think the biggest thing the Aces needed, that first championship was all about the 3. Second championship, they added defense. And then now going after the third, it is going to be the contribution from the bench. And I think that if they get that, I think that the Aces could go after their 3rd championship. But I think Connecticut is one of those things. And one of the things you have to have is an MVP caliber player. And Alyssa Thomas, first game of the season, what does she do? She goes out and gets a triple-double. You couple that with DeWanna Bonner and how she's playing and that maturity and experience that makes Connecticut work. And they have Brianna Jones back as well. And so having that inside presence, and they still are one of the most physical teams in the WNBA.
They are, and Carrington's defense just remarkable as well. We saw that against Caitlin Clark. And then I look at the New York Liberty. They're the 3rd team that I know is going to be there. They've got that core group back as well. They've added some pieces to that. But you have Stewie really stepping up. But I think Jonquel Jones has come in, and she's in incredible condition. She seems to be much more focused this year. And so they're a team that's leaning heavily on those 5 starters, but they've got some good players coming in, giving solid minutes as well.
And I think that Dallas, now after having some experience under Coach LT, has really come together and understand what it takes. And you've got Arike Ogunbowale, who is a bucket, right? She's also added distributing the basketball, the improvement of Tierra McCowan. Now, the problem for Dallas right now is injuries because Satu Sabali is out, and then Natasha Howard just went out with another injury. And so waiting for those players to come back, they've got to hold it down until after the Olympic break. By then, everybody should be healthy, and that should make Dallas very dangerous.
Yeah, and the teams remaining, the Seattle Storm, they were a team with a question mark for me. But as I start to watch them put it together, I lean on experience. And I think experience can carry you so far in the WNBA. They have experience. I think Jewel Lloyd is just now starting to find out where she fits after adding Nneka Ogwumike out with an ankle right now. But they have so much talent coming in, and they have also added Skylar Diggins-Smith to their lineup. You're going to get scoring, and it takes experience and scoring ability, and that's what they bring.
And that's all Jewel Lloyd needed was a point guard. And why not get the point guard she had experience with in college in Skylar Diggins-Smith? Well, I love you guys' predictions, and you both had Atlanta and Minnesota. So Ryan Howard with Atlanta Dream. Talk about what they possibly could do going into the playoffs. Well, Ryan Howard has taken her game up another level, as well as Alicia Gray now understanding how to play with Ryan Howard. But the addition of Tina Charles to come inside and play in combination with Cheyenne Parker-Tyus, I think is huge because these are 2 post players that can play and punish you down low, but they can also step out and score. And also that post game, they can defend in ball screens. They're not afraid to leave the paint to defend.
Yeah, and I really think Haley Jones has stepped it up from her rookie season. She learned a lot and has really come in with a very different look and a very different focus, and they've leaned on her to run the show a little bit more. And then we look at the Minnesota Lynx, and this is another team. I had question marks. They had so much change, but they've got an experienced coach in Cheryl Reeve, and then they bring back experienced pieces to go together. It takes a little time to get that chemistry, but wow, Collier, what a season she's having. And I really don't even think Diamond Miller's gotten her game going yet with this group. They have a lot of options.
And they got that spark plug in Courtney Williams.
Oh, yeah.
You know that's a bucket right there.
What an addition.
Well, you guys were in agreement of 7 of the 8, but let's go down the stretch here. Let's bring in the final 8. So Phoenix, Carolyn, you wanted to talk about them a little bit, and then Krista, you wanted to talk about Chicago. So let's start with you, Carolyn, with Phoenix.
Another new head coach in the WNBA, Nate Tibbetts, and he has come in and brought a defensive philosophy, and especially mixing up the defense. It's not just man-to-man or traditional 2-3. We've seen a 1-3-1. We've seen a little bit of a rover defense, and I think that keeps teams off balance. It also keeps teams engaged. And Diana Taurasi has found a fountain of youth.
Yeah.
I mean, in the first game of the season, she came in and hit 7 threes against the Las Vegas Aces. It's not just the open threes that Diana's hitting. She's hitting the tough guarded ones that we're used to seeing from DT. So I think that from her leadership and experience, I think that Phoenix could be back in the playoffs.
And I think the reason I didn't have them in was because I was concerned, can DT sustain this throughout? But she's got enough others going along with her that I think she's come in with great conditioning. And Chicago, again, a team with question marks for me at first because of so much new. They got Teaspoon running the show for Chicago. And then you got Marina Mabry. She's playing well. Angel Reese coming in as a rookie. How will she do? Well, she's doing really well. She's double machine, basically. Diamond DeShields, a nice pickup for them also. Elizabeth Williams. So, again, experience. And then you've got to have scoring, and they're finding it.
They're playing with that fire that Teaspoon played with, and she's brought it in that locker room.
Well, Carolyn and Krista, thank you for joining us today. We will revisit your picks later on in the season and, of course, at the end of the regular season. So next week, Carolyn and Krista will be back to help us break down this year's rookie class, which newcomers will have the biggest impact in the WNBA in 2024. Tune in and find out.